Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing some Blue Eyes Chaos Max test hand. So this deck is basically the OTK deck if you're going to be playing an OTK deck that summons Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon and just OTKs your opponent with double piercing damage with a 4K body, which is insanely good and it's super fun to play around with. It actually doesn't even really need the extra deck. I have a couple of cards in here for a suggestion. It is a full 15 card extra deck that I have built for you guys to show, but since we use incantations in the main deck, you don't really have to use the extra deck. So without further ado, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description because we have some awesome rewards for you guys, like getting your name in the description of every single video, getting a signed card sent to you in the mail, or even getting to request a deck profile every single month that you are a patron. So let's get straight on into this. So first off, let's see what we can get out. So I really quickly want to show you guys basically what this deck establishes to be able to OTK your opponent. So what you're usually going to establish on the field is you're going to establish a Blue Eyes Chaos Max, and you're also going to try and establish a copy of the Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon. If you can establish both of these on turn 2, then you're pretty much going to OTK your opponent because this is going to attack and then change all monster defense and reduce their attack defense to 0. And then swing with the Chaos Max into one monster and inflict the 8,000 basically blow that's going to defeat your opponent, the OTK blow. So let's get into the drawing test hands to show you guys basically how consistent this deck is. This deck is super consistent, and I really quickly want to give a shout out to my buddy Lane because this is like his deck. That he plays all the time. I actually got him into this deck because he really loved OTK decks. He plays this in Cubics all the time, so I'm really excited to do this one for him, and he will comment down below somewhere and be like, hey, you didn't do this right, which will be funny for you guys to check out. So be on the lookout for him, for Reaper the Dark Clown down there in the comments. So let's see what we can do and see what we can actually pull off with this Chaos Max deck. So we're going to do like we normally do and just draw a couple of hands and show you guys what kind of hands this deck can produce. So we're going to go ahead and draw a Blue Eyes Chaos Max right off the bat. That's a good show. And Advanced Ritual Art. With just these two cards, you already have pretty much a play to get your Blue Eyes Chaos Max out on the field because you have the Blue Eyes in the deck to send a graveyard with this and a Blue Eyes Chaos Max special summon to your side of the field. Then we have a Return of the Dragon Lords, which you can bring back your Blue Eyes that you sent to the graveyard off of this. Trade in, which if you draw another level 8 monster, you can discard to draw 2 more. And a copy of Manju, which is going to net us a copy of Chaos Dragon, which you can send to the graveyard with trade in to draw 2 more cards. And if we did do that, we're going to go ahead and check out and see what we could get. Literally, we just grab this, shuffle the deck, and then activate the trade-in, ditch this, and then draw 2 more, which would be another Manju and a Blue Eyes, which would be kind of helpful for the follow-up turn because you could normal summon the copy of the Manju the following turn, which would get us another play. So not a terrible hand at all. That was probably an 8 out of 10, maybe a 9 out of 10 for a hand, maybe a 10 out of 10. That was, well, no, because you can summon them both. I'd probably say that was a 7 out of 10 because you had some draw power, you had a special summon, you had some plays there, but you didn't have a way to get them both out on the field, and you didn't draw any incantation monsters at all, which is usually beneficial to draw a ritual spell, a ritual monster, and an incantation monster to start going into your plays. So let's do another draw hand and just see what we draw. Incantation Chalice Slime, that's pretty good to reveal. Bookstone, that's not bad. Pencil Plume, again, not bad. Blue Eyes Chaos Max, you always want to see this opening hand and a melody because you can get a search off of this. So you have a lot of plays and openings here because you can use the copy of your Pencil Plume to special summon to the field by revealing this, and then immediately special summon out your copy of Kandal or to get the copy of Advanced Ritual Art to your hand. After you do that, you can just immediately drop the Blue Eyes Chaos Max on your side of the field by doing that, and then you can reveal the copy of Chalice Slime and get your other copy of the ritual spell that you might need. So let's go into our next test hand. See, the deck is really consistent. You get really consistent hands. It very rarely, to me, bricks. The only way that you really lose is if your opponent kaijus or raw sphere modes you, and then you have to try and pick up the pieces, because this deck is a very much so glass cannon-ish deck where you're trying to summon the Blue Eyes Chaos Max as quickly as possible to be able to get out your monsters onto the field. So that's basically how the deck runs. So let's go ahead and do one more. Again, you're going to want to usually go second, so we're going to go ahead and just draw like we're going second in this hand. So you get a Chaos Max right off the bat. That's really good. Sheehan Spy is a really easy OTK card that I play as a tech card in here that basically lets you give your opponent one of your incantation monsters. It doesn't rely on anything your opponent has. You just summon your Blue Eyes Chaos Max, give your opponent incantation with Sheehan Spy, and then swing into it and you win. We draw into a Return of the Dragon Lords, which revives our Blue Eyes, a Monster Reborn, and a copy of Blue Eyes Chaos Max. Now this is how the deck bricks. Again, I said we're going second, but this is how the deck bricks. And then we're drawing into a trade-in. Let's go ahead and just see if we discarded a Chaos Max with the trade-in, what we draw, and we draw into an Advanced Ritual Art and another trade-in. If you wanted to play Gutsy, you could go for the other trade-in, and it would maybe not pay off, but we'll see. That actually does pay off to trade in, because then you could discard with the Melody and go from plays for there. So you did actually get some plays off there where you can get both your Chaos Dragons in your hand with that. So the next test hand we're actually going to play out, and we're going to see what we can do. And see what we can actually pull off with this deck. So this deck goes pretty fast. We may do a couple of test hands, maybe 3 or 4, maybe up to 5 test hands, depending on how we do on time. Then we'll just see how we can pull this off. So let's go ahead and play out a test hand. We're going to go ahead and cut that deck and show you guys how this deck works. So we're going to go ahead and draw into a Bookstone, which is not bad. Kandal, again, not bad. We need a Ritual Spell and a Ritual Monster. We got our Ritual Monster right there. We got a trade-in right there. That's not bad. And for our other card, we got a Melody. Let's just say we're going first to establish a board. We're going to go ahead and activate the effect of... These both have to require Ritual Spell. So we're going to have to discard one of them. So I'm going to go ahead and activate my Melody. And I'm going to actually discard the Kandal because I want to be able to resolve the Kandal in my deck. I don't want to resolve the Kandal in my hand. So in this hand particularly, I'm going to grab a copy of Blue Eyes White Dragon and a Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. I'm going to grab those two from my deck to my hand because that's going to immediately net me the copy that I need to summon for 2 of my cards. So basically we're trying to get us 2 Ritual Spells and 2 Ritual Monsters. Activate the copy of Trade-In because your Blue Eyes is never dead in the graveyard to draw 2 more cards. We're going to cut that deck just to show you guys we don't know what we're getting. And we're going to draw into a Manju, which is going to immediately get us our copy, and a copy of Chalice Slime, which is also going to immediately get us another copy of what we need. That basically summons both of these, and I'm going to show you how. Normal summon out your Manju. The Manju is going to search your copy of Advanced Ritual Art. I'm going to go ahead and set to the side my Chaos form, and I'm going to set to the side my copy of this card is summoned from the deck. You need a Ritual Monster. We want the Kandal. You want the Kandal because you're going to do some really crazy plays. I'm just going to set these to the side. We're going to put these on the bottom of the deck so I can go ahead and grab them. But what you're going to do is you're going to activate the Advanced Ritual Art. The Advanced Ritual Art is going to send from deck to graveyard a Blue Eyes White Dragon. And you're immediately going to special summon out your Blue Eyes Chaos Max. Once you do that, you can reveal the Chalice Slime in your hand to discard a card from your hand. And if you do, you special summon an incantation monster from your deck. So discard the copy of Bookstone, and then add special summon the copy of Kandal. Kandal's effect is going to trigger, and it's going to let us add a ritual spell from our deck to our hand, which is what we need. So we're going to add that Chaos form from deck to hand, which then you're going to activate the Chaos form, banishing a single copy of Blue Eyes White Dragon, and special summoning out your Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon. At this point, you've pretty much won, unless your opponent does something crazy and raw sphere mode you or something like that. If they can't get rid of these 2 cards, you win, because you are going to attack with the Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon, which its effect is if you guys don't know what this does is it has the ability that we're going to zoom in, which is its effect to zoom in. And we are going to use its effect of when this card declares an attack, you can change the battle position of as many monsters your opponent controls as possible. And if you do, the attack and defense of those monsters become 0. And also, if this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage. This card does double piercing damage, so you swing with this first, change them all to defense position, reduce their attack and defense to 0, and then swing over where 8,000 basically piercing damage into a monster. So again, you don't need the extra deck at all. The extra deck is kind of optional if you do have like 2 revival spells and you put 2 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon on the field, you can contact them to summon out your Twin Burst, which is the only time I really touch the extra deck. I do play stuff like Felgrand and stuff like that in case I need to go into a rank 8 occasionally. But if you play the incantations, you can't actually go into your extra deck at all, which kind of sucks, but you know, it is what it is. You don't need it. You can play Pot of Extravagance in here if you want to. I don't feel like I need it, so I don't play it. because I feel like I want to keep the deck at 40 as close as possible, and I just want to add cards from my deck to my hand, which the deck, again, doesn't really brick at all. If you want to take out the Xian Spies and play 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance, you can pay attention to the test hands and see if you ever draw it and have opportunities for it, but we can just say that those are Pot of Extravagances for test sake. I'm not going to act like they are in here, but you guys can act like those are to see what the ratios of drawing them would be. So, we're going to draw into a Talismandra, which is pretty good. A copy of Bookstone, again, pretty good. We need a ritual spell and a ritual monster. We got a Return of the Dragon Lords. We got a Kandal. Again, we're getting kind of into brick territory. And a Manju. Manju fixes the entire hand. We're going to go second this time because this deck benefits from going second. And we're going to draw into our Chalice Slime. Now in this hand, I don't see 2 Chaos Maxes being able to be pulled off, but we're at least going to get 1, because we're going to normal summon that Manju, and it doesn't really matter which particular piece you grab, if you grab the Chaos Max or you grab anything else, but we're going to grab the Chaos Max. You still have an OTK possibility, but it's just a little bit tougher. In this particular scenario, you could reveal your copy of Talismandra, and then reveal your Blue Eyes Chaos Max, special summon out the Talismandra to your side of the field, and then special summon out your Kandal from the deck, which is going to get you off a really good play. So we're immediately going to special summon that Kandal to our side of the field, and as soon as you special summon that Kandal, the Kandal's effect is going to resolve, getting us a copy of Advanced Ritual Art, getting us a ritual spell from our deck to our hand. And then you activate the Chaos form to special summon out a Blue Eyes Chaos Max by sending a Blue Eyes White Dragon to the graveyard. And then you special summon the Chaos Max, and then activate the copy of Return of the Dragon Lords, and special summon out your copy of Blue Eyes White Dragon. Now, the only problem with this deck is you run out of zones, because I could keep going if I wanted to, because I do have the copy of Bookstone that I could have resolved in my hand, and I have the Chalice Slime that I can resolve, so I still have resources with these cards in my hand. But at this point, you could do double piercing or at least 4,000 damage, 3k with the Blue Eyes, and a 1,400 attack with the Manju. And then if you go next turn, Xian Spy, you've automatically won. Give this to your opponent by using the Xian Spy, and then swing with the Blue Eyes Chaos Max into it, or swing with this, either one, and then you win. I mean, that's pretty much how the deck works to win, because you're just going to resolve that. So let's go ahead and go into the next test hand. That was test hand number 2. Let's go into test hand number 3 and see what we can do with the next test hand. Again, you don't even really have to pile shuffle this deck. Like, it's that consistent that you don't need to pile shuffle it, because it's just so good and consistent with the incantations that it doesn't have a problem. Because you do have hands where you saw the last test hand where you'll draw too many incantations. I'm going to chunk that over there. You're going to draw too many of your incantations, but that's okay because you have plenty of backup plays. So the Advanced Ritual Art and the copy of Melody is going to net us already our copy of the monster we need. So we're going to go first with this hand, just to kind of show you guys a going first hand. We're going to activate that copy of Melody. Melody is going to send Melody to the graveyard. I know that's kind of weird. But then that's going to let us add from deck to hand our Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon and Blue Eyes Chaos Max. Once you do this, you can do some really simple plays and go Advanced Ritual Art. Advanced Ritual Art sends Blue Eyes to graveyard, special summon your Blue Eyes White Dragon. And then if you really want to summon that Chaos Dragon, you can still do it. Activate the copy of Chalice Slime, discard the copy of Return of the Dragon Lords, special summon from your deck the copy of Kandal, which is going to add a ritual spell from deck to hand. And then it lets you add your Chaos form from deck to hand. And then you activate the Chaos form, and then you banish Blue Eyes White Dragon, special summon Chaos Dragon, and then you've got the OTK again. Like, it's really that consistent that you get both of these monsters, at least Chaos Max on the field. I mean, if you can just establish Chaos Max, that's a hard card to get past. I mean, it really is. It can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And if this card attacks a defensive monster, it inflicts double damage. I mean, the only way that your opponent's going to get past this is Kaiju or Utopia double normally. Really. I mean, it's really tough to get past, to get over it. Especially if you summon it first turn. It's just really tough. I mean, I took this into a tournament at one point, and the only thing that kept getting me was kaijus, and kaijus are not as prevalent nowadays. They just aren't, and so, I mean, you can really get some crazy boards with this deck. So let's go ahead and go into our fourth test hand and see what we can get. So for the fourth test hand, we're going to get Return of the Dragon Lords, Advanced Ritual Art, Return of the Dragon Lords, Candle, or not Candle, but Chalice Slime, and a Blue Eyes White Dragon. Okay, so this is still pretty good. Let's say we're going second this time. We're going to draw into a Bookstone. Okay, Bookstone lets us reveal a ritual spell. So we're going to activate that Bookstone, reveal this copy of the Advanced Ritual Art, special summon from our deck a copy of, we just need the monster. So we're going to special summon out the Talismandra. The Talismandra is going to come to the field. Effective Talismandra is going to let us search a ritual monster from the deck, which is going to be our copy of Blue Eyes Chaos Max, wherever it is. There's Chaos Max. See, I mean, you're getting pluses for days in this deck. I mean, it's ridiculous. Advanced Ritual Art is going to activate, and we're going to send a Blue Eyes White Dragon conveniently on the bottom of the deck. Special summon Blue Eyes Chaos Max. Activate the effect of Chalice Slime to discard the copy of Blue Eyes White Dragon, and then special summon from the deck a copy of the Candle, and then Candle effect is going to add from deck to hand your copy of, not that, it's going to add, it's looking me in the face, copy of Chaos Form, and then you can activate from here your Return of the Dragon Lords, and then special summon from your graveyard the Blue Eyes White Dragon. And, I mean, you have a protection and you have a OTK. The only thing I wish I could do with this deck is get these off the field ASAP, because at this point I could activate the Return of the Dragon Lords and then immediately special summon my second Blue Eyes White Dragon, but I have nowhere to summon it, so that can't come back right now. But I have a follow-up play the next turn if this field does get destroyed to bring back another Blue Eyes, and if I draw for the next turn, we draw into another this, and then we can discard a copy of one of the two of them, and then bring our Blue Eyes Chaos Max to hand, and then go for a Chaos Dragon again. I mean, it's really, really good. So, basically I'm teaching you how to play incantations right now, which is kind of fun. To summon Chaos Max. So, let's go ahead and do another test hand. I think this is test hand number 5 or 6. I mean, we're going into these because they go quick, and I just kind of want to show you guys how consistent and quick this deck is to be able to OTK. It's very swift. It's a glass cannon because, again, if it does get destroyed, if your Chaos Max gets removed from field, you do have follow-up plays, as I've been showing you, but they're not quite as good as getting him out right off the bat. It's never going to recover like it did to begin with. I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. It's not going to recover like it did to summon the first one. Once you establish that first one, that's kind of like your hopes and dreams, and then the second one is the part-time job. Being totally honest with you guys. It just happens the way that is because you want to summon this card as quickly as possible. And if you get to summon a second one, you've done really well. So, we're going to go first this time and just see what we can establish. So, we get Talismandra, Blue Eyes White Dragon, Chaos Max, Trade In, and a copy of Chaos Form. We already have it again. I mean, it's that consistent. It is really that consistent. So, reveal the ritual monster. With the Talismandra, special summon Talismandra, effective Talismandra, special summon from deck, Candle effect, add from deck to hand, Advanced Ritual Art, which is right there on top, shuffle up that deck, activate the Advanced Ritual Art, send from deck to graveyard our copy of Blue Eyes White Dragon, shuffle that deck up, send it to the graveyard, and then activate the Trade-In, send the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Oh, this goes to the field too. Sorry. Activate the Trade-In. Draw 2 from the deck. And boom, you got the second one. Discard this with the effect of Melody. Add from deck to hand your copy of Chaos Dragon and a backup Blue Eyes Chaos Max, just in case. Activate that Chaos Form. Banish a copy of your Blue Eyes White Dragon with the Chaos Form because it can banish from graveyard to resolve. And then special summon your Chaos Dragon. That's a turn 1 play. I mean, that's turn 1 with this deck. It's ridiculous. This deck is that good. It doesn't, like in all these hands that I've shown you, this deck is not bricked one time. And that's usually obscene, and that's why I love this deck, is it really does this. And we draw for turn, and we draw on a trade-in, which you could ditch those two. Draw 2 more, which is going to get us a Manju and a trade-in. Normal summon the Manju. Manju is going to search us from deck. Our copy of Chaos Dragon, trade-in, draw 2 more. And at this point, you could discard this to grab something else, and then you got the second Manju. I mean, that's just how deep the deck, it digs into the deck with the trade-in engine, and with the Candle, and the Talismanders, and all that. But I think that proves my point of how to play the deck, and how this deck is really, really insanely good. It's really fun to play around with, because even with these solitaire hands, if you summon these 2 monsters, I will reiterate, if you summon these 2 monsters to your side of the field, you win, essentially. If your opponent has no response and can't get past these 2 monsters, and they leave 1 monster, any monster on the field, like a Blue Eyes White Dragon, they leave this on their side of the field, you attack, change to defense, swing into it, 0 defense, swing directly, they take 4k, that's 7,000. If they leave any other monster on the field with 0 defense, you swing into it, game. That's it. I mean, it's quick, it's swift, and it's like, I've gone into rounds and tournaments and resolved an entire 2-0 game in 5 minutes with this deck. It's that quick. So definitely give this deck a try. It's super fun. I'm glad I got to show you guys the test hands of this deck. If you have any other requests for test hands, I've already done Cyber Dragons, Red Eyes, Blue Eyes Chaos Max now, Summon Skull, Magical Musketeers, Black Wings, Raid Raptors, all sorts of stuff, Infernities, all sorts of stuff on the channel for you guys to see. Dark Arm Dragon Turbo, that was fun. But I've done all sorts of test hands for you guys. If you guys can think of any other test hands you'd like to see, definitely comment them down below. And definitely check out the Patreon down in the description that makes videos like this possible. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you can become part of the notification squad. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.